I am Jana Vasonko, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Kairaba Avenue. Thanks for joining us, and here are the main news headlines. The new ambassador of the Republic of Korea to the Gambia presented his letters of credence on Friday to President Adama Barrow at State House and also outlined some major plans to address food security and skills development in the Gambia. Sekou Dramé and Lamin Gassama Estwal, General Manager and Operations Manager at the Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility Limited, appeared at the High Court on Wednesday to face 8-count charges related to economic losses of approximately $21 million. The Ministry of Health announced at a press conference on Friday that another nationwide COVID-19 vaccination campaign will start on Friday night and conclude on Sunday, 15th May 2022. The CSO Working Group on Transitional Justice on Thursday updated the public on its findings and presented the civil society organization's white paper on the TRRC report and recommendations to the Ministry of Justice. Those were our main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay with us. Thank you for joining us. I am Jana Bosonko and you're watching QTV News. Now, the new ambassador of the Republic of Korea to the Gambia presented his letters of credence on Friday to President Adama Barrow. The ambassador also unveiled his country's plans for development, cooperation with the Gambia, with a focus on addressing food security and skills development in the Gambia. Mamadou Lamin Choi has the rest of that story.
It is the deepening of diplomatic ties for cooperation on development between two republics, the Republic of the Gambia and the Republic of Korea. In a manifestation of commitment to the diplomatic relations, the ambassador of the Republic of Korea arrives in the Gambia together with a delegation to present his letters of credence to the President of the Gambia. The ambassador is being received by his country's honorary consul in the Gambia, Mohamed Jah. Diplomatic relations between the two countries have existed for nearly 6 decades. The new Korean ambassador, Kim Ji-jun, is based in Dakar and jointly represents the Republic of Korea in 6 countries in the West Africa sub-region, namely Senegal, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Cabo Verde, Mali and the Gambia. The diplomatic relations between the Gambia and the Republic of Korea have stood the test of time with a history of mutual support and cooperation, especially during the most difficult times facing the two countries. Ahead of his meeting with President Adama Barrow, the ambassador visits the Ministries of Foreign Affairs and Trade for bilateral engagements. Mamadou Tangara, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, praises the relations and points out the lessons the Gambia can learn from the Republic of Korea's development story.
So I think we are happy today to receive the ambassador of the Republic of Korea, and we look forward to a very fruitful cooperation, and we can assure them of our unflinching support. But I'm sure when the ambassador will meet with the president, he will know a lot about some of the plans that we are working on.
The ambassador's visit to the Gambia brings with it hope for development cooperation through economic diplomacy. The Gambia's Finance and Economic Affairs Minister, Sidi Keta, underscores the significance of the proposed socio-economic projects the Republic of Korea plans to implement in the Gambia.
And we are very thrilled as a ministry to receive the ambassador, who has very good developmental plan as an economic diplomacy, and that diplomacy is in the form of trying to help invest in the agricultural sector, particularly in the rice cultivation, to make Gambia a food self-sufficiency in its agricultural strive. So that to me is a very worthy cause, and we are very delighted that he's not using diplomacy alone, but he's using diplomacy to help in our development efforts to address the acute need for the country to become self-sufficiency in a vital crop like rice.
In his final round of diplomatic engagements in the Gambia, the Republic of Korea's ambassador to the Gambia arrives at State House to present his letters of credence to President Adama Barrow. Together with his delegation, Ambassador Kim receives a warm welcome from President Barrow. As part of the occasion, the head of state had a bilateral meeting with the ambassador and his delegation. During the meeting, the president is reported to have expressed commitment to the Gambia's diplomatic cooperation with the Republic of Korea. After the meeting, Ambassador Kim briefed the press on his country's development cooperation with the Gambia.
And then here, with the Honorary Council with Mr. Jha, we are working very closely to this time to promote the agricultural area. We have to get some way to sort out some kind of problems here, and then we will try to overcome for the food security. And then the second one, probably we will go through some kind of a training center if it is possible. And then, skill training center, like a formation for the professionals. And we will see how we can help you with our KOICA program. And that is the two-way to concrete the cooperation with the Gambia and Korea.
The Honorary Consul of the Republic of Korea, Mohamed Jha, has been front and center in the bilateral engagements between the governments of the Republic of Korea and the Gambia to foster a friendly and productive relations between the two countries. As a Gambian businessman, his diplomatic engagements with the Korean government for cooperation with the Gambia prioritizes areas that can oil the engine of economic growth, particularly in agriculture and skills development.
So I have been working very hard with the Korean government to look at these two areas. Fortunately, we are able to get very positive results in the sense that they have agreed to cooperate with us, and it's going to be a public-private partnership where we're going to look at growing enough rice, in the Gambia to feed us, and also the possibility of exporting. They have been testing a variety of rice in Senegal and also in Guinea. And Guinea's climate and soil is very close to the Gambia's one, and the results for the Guinea is coming out in June. So hopefully after that we will be able to test the same rice. If we have positive results, we'll test for about an acre of land in different areas in the country, and if successful, we think that we are going to work with the Republic of Korea to make sure that in the next few years we don't import rice anymore.
The republics of the Gambia and Korea have over the years worked closely at both local and international levels to foster relations with a range of benefits. The Republic of Korea has supported the Gambia's transition, including at the 2018 Brussels Donor Conference, where $1.7 billion was pledged in support of, among other things, the Gambia's peace building, security, and the Transitional Justice Program. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
The new ambassador of the Republic of Korea to the Gambia presenting his credence there. Now, Sekou Drame and Lamin Gassama, erstwhile General Manager and Operations Manager at the Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility Limited on Wednesday, appeared at the Banjul High Court to face 8-count charges of major financial crimes filed by the state. The charges relate to economic losses of approximately $21 million. Aliou Cisse has the rest of that story.
The 8-count charges filed by the State Criminal Prosecution Unit accused Sekou Drame and Lamin Gassama, both former General Manager and Operations Manager respectively, of conspiracy to commit economic crimes at the Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility Limited depot at Lamin Madinari in Commonwealth District. The alleged offences occurred between January and October 2021, and the state charges say they thereby caused economic loss to the government and others. Sekou Drame, as general manager, is accused of stealing over $235,000 paid by Gage Global for the supply of petroleum product, the property of international traders in trust of Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility Limited. The charges accuse General Manager Sekou Drame and Operations Manager Lamin Gassama of fraudulently appropriating gas oil 5,919.6 metric tons, valued at $4.7 million, and gasoline 721.9 metric tons, valued at $692,000, the property of Adax Energy, an international oil trader. The two are also accused of having fraudulently released petroleum product of Adax Energy without authority, resulting in the Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs paying the international trader approximately $5.4 million as trustees settlement, causing economic loss to the government of the Gambia. Sekou Drame and Lamin Gassama, by the virtue of their positions, are also accused using their positions to fraudulently appropriate 2,394.32 metric tons of PMS gasoline valued at $1.8 million and Argo gas oil 3,042 metric tons valued at just over $2 million. The property of PSTV Energy DMMC, an international oil trader in trust of Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility. The case arose following investigations by a presidential task force chaired by the then Trade Minister, now Minister of Finance Sidi Keita, into gasoline shortage in the country, which uncovered what is said was fraud, massive procedural errors, recklessness, and lack of transparency at the Gam Petroleum Fuel Depot. The task force's findings further alleged stocks entrusted to the National Depot by international traders, ADAX, Trafigura, and PSTV, and local oil marketing companies, OMCs, were equally missing. The total volume of products missing was 10,753 metric tons of petrol and 20,245 metric tons of gas oil, with a cumulative value of approximately $20 million. Sehu Drame and Lamin Gassama are represented by lawyers Badi Asam Conte and Akimbo. The state is represented by Senior State Counsel MD Mbalo, who is expected to call up to 8 prosecution witnesses. Drame and Gassama pleaded not guilty to the charges against them and were granted bail. The case was adjourned to Monday, 9th May. It is not yet known how long the trial will last. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, the Ministry of Health announced on Friday at a press conference that another nationwide COVID-19 vaccination campaign will start on Monday 9th to 15th May 2022. And Sumana Isunyasi attended the press conference and files on this report.
The new vaccination campaign will for the first time include children as young as 12 and is expected to cover all regions in the country. According to Modunjai, the director of the Directorate of Health Promotion and Education at the Ministry of Health, it is part of the ministry's efforts to meet the WHO target of vaccinating at least 60% of the population. In December 2021, when the target had been set at 40% vaccination, by the end of that year, only 7 African countries had achieved more than 40%. Njai urges those yet to be vaccinated to make use of this opportunity.
Appeal to the general public that the vaccination teams will be moving as a team. Some of them will be doing the sensitization to inform people about the arrival of the vaccination teams in their communities. So some of them also will be moving ahead of the teams to also make certain logistic arrangements prior to the arrival of the vaccination team in certain communities. And then we also have the vaccination teams, and they'll be going from village to village, that is at the regional level. And then at the national level here, for example, I would say Kanopi Municipality, BCC, and the West Coast region.
Modunjai went on to allay fears concerning vaccine safety and side effects and encourages everyone to take the vaccine. Siddharth Fofana and Ajak Kande, Program Manager and Communications Officer of the Expanded Program for Immunization, respectively, emphasized the importance of taking the vaccine and gave statistics of the number and types of vaccines to be given.
We all know since the last 2 years we are affected. We cannot perform our religious rituals properly. Mecca was closed as well as Rome. So that is important to tell anybody that this is a very serious disease we are dealing with. It is not gone. Another important strategy is to make sure that we know this is an infection that spreads, through contact and all those things. And we know now children are very important in spreading the disease. That is why the global body was able to come out with a strategy to vaccinate the strategy to ensure that we are able to vaccinate children from 12 years and upwards.
12 years and above. The 12 years and above children are open to only the Pfizer vaccine. The health workers have been trained and they are aware of all the categories, and they know the target population and which vaccines they should be given at what age. So the 18 years and above is open to the Johnson & Johnson and the Sinopharm. So we have almost 3 varieties in stock. We have the Pfizer, we have the Johnson & Johnson, and we have the Sinopharm available across the country.
Vaccination teams comprising officials from various departments at the ministry will from Monday commence the campaign. The Gambia, like many countries in the world, has been hit hard by the pandemic that affected all sectors of the economy. Hence, the ministry's emphasis on the need to take the vaccines to meet the WHO target of vaccinating at least 60% of the population. Ansumana Isonyasi for QTV News.
From that story by Ansumana Isonyasi, we will now go for a short commercial break. And when we come back, we have some more local news stories for you. Do stay tuned. I am the light goddess. Everything I touch turns into light. I am the light at the end of the tunnel, and my technology is the answer. I am the happiness in your life. I keep you connected, and I am Q-Power. I am Q-Cell. I am Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Call 111 for more information.
Q Money, the biggest mobile money service in the Gambia, has taken mobile banking to the next level. Now, you can link your Q Money wallet with your bank account. Yes, link your Ajib or EcoBank accounts with your Q Money wallet and get instant access to your cash anytime. No need to queue at the bank anymore. Transfer funds from your bank account to your wallet or your wallet to your bank account using Q Money Bank Link is the fastest, most secure, and convenient way to transfer funds between your wallet and bank account. For more information, call our customer care on 133. Q Money, Sunyu Kalpe. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, the CSO Working Group on Transitional Justice on Thursday held a press conference to update the public on its findings and presented the civil society organization's white paper on the TRRC report and recommendations to the Ministry of Justice. More in this report by Ajibento Drame.
The Civil Society Shadow White Paper is developed by the CSO Thematic Working Group on Transitional Justice with support from a consultant. The document brought together voices of civil society organization, victims-led organization, victims and transitional justice actors. This was in response to the Gambia's Truth Commission, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, TRRC, which uncovered gross human rights violations, forced disappearances and extrajudicial killings, among other atrocities. Sirandau, a member of the African Network Against Extrajudicial Killings and Enforced Disappearances, Aniket explains.
We have to accept that our government chose to go through the TRRC route and go completely through TRRC, wait for the TRRC to be completed before starting investigation. That was what they chose. So we are embarking on that, and to do that, they have to take the recommendations. There are phases, and we cannot really jump all of those. We have to be patient and work on that, because prosecutions take time. And here, after the TRRC, criminal prosecutions have to start. I mean, investigations they have to start. You cannot go to court without criminal investigation. That has to start. One of the challenges that we face, and we are aware of that as civil society, is some of the limitations in terms of capacity within our police, within our ministry, within our government, within civil society and everything.
The white paper outlines a series of recommendations and victims' perspectives, calling for a meaningful national transformation and recognition for victims gravely impacted by human rights violations. The recommendations are presented in the hope that the government will acknowledge and remedy wrongs of the previous government and provide redress and reparations for victims and their families. Among other things, the TRRC recommends amnesties for some perpetrators who gave testimony and sets out how this might operate. Priscilla Cisse, a member of the Women's Association for Victims Empowerment, WAVE, explains the best way to effectively apply amnesties.
It is quite clear, though, under international law, that amnesty is not provided for certain actions, crimes against humanity, rape, torture, and similar provisions. So in ensuring that victims get the justice they need, the government has to weigh that alongside provisions of amnesty.
Part of the recommendation implored the government to establish a forensic team with international technical and financial support to conduct investigations for forced disappearance. Fatou Balde MBE, chairperson of Transitional Justice Working Group, explained some of the victims' demand.
It is important that these issues are communicated to victims and the Gambian population as whole, because it's important that people don't feel that we are just ignoring the situation or perpetrators are not prosecuted. As Sira says, there is a pattern, there is a route that we have to follow.
In its work, the CSO working group consulted communities and victims across the Gambia to produce the Shadow White Paper. They now hope that the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice will implement their recommendations. Ajibintu Dwame, QTV News.
The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, through the Directorate of Curriculum, briefed the media on Friday on the Africa Continental Conference on Curriculum to be hosted by the Gambia later this month. Omar P. Jallo was there and fastened this report.
Africa, like other continents, is experiencing rapid changing demands to respond to economic, environmental, social and political transformations. These demands are impacted by the technological advance, climate change, migration, and now the COVID-19 pandemic. All these challenges require more innovation and knowledge. The school sector is expected to prepare students to flourish in a future where the competencies needed to succeed are constantly changing. Momadou Dieng, the Director of Curriculum at the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, reveals that there is considerable need for national and international curricula to reflect the changes taking place in and outside educational institutions. Mr. Dieng said many educationalists are now asking what quality curriculum in a technological era should look like and reflect the changes and ways of achieving the necessary changes in education for such a curriculum to be realized. This, he said, requires rigorous and organized deliberation and discussions to align curricula and related processes for learning in the technological era.
COVID has taught the world and Africa and the Gambia in particular that you cannot rely anymore on the traditional face-to-face of delivering your curriculum. Because if in case of pandemics like the COVID, in case of conflicts like what recently happened in the Casamas regions, where settlements were affected by the crisis in the Casamas, how do you ensure that that does not disrupt learning? You cannot therefore truly rely on only the traditional face-to-face. We need to look at how we explore various platforms, including the use of technology properly. So this is an opportunity through this conference.
Lamin Jaju, a senior program officer at UNESCO NATCOM, said the technological challenges in education today need continuous dialogue to find lasting solutions to education problems in Africa. He adds that the Continental Strategy for Africa advocates for increasing access to quality and relevant education and learning.
Curriculum is a systematic, if you like, and intended packaging of competencies, be they knowledge, skills, and attitudes that are backed up by values. Because education without values is nothing, absolutely.
The conference scheduled for the 23rd to the 26th of May will bring together curriculum developers and implementers, education administrators and partners, trainers of teachers and other stakeholders to discuss the challenges and find solutions to mitigate the challenges of the 21st century. Quality education is at the center of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development Goals that requires education practitioners to meet, dialogue and develop strategies to mitigate these challenges. It is hoped that these discussions will make recommendations on how Africa can progress towards holistic hybrid modes of education. This will require many countries to redesign their national curricula to prepare young people to smoothly navigate the technological era. Reporting for QTV News, I am Omar P. Jallo.
Interesting. From that story by Omar P. Jallo, we will now recap our main headlines. The new ambassador of the Republic of Korea to the Gambia presented his letters of credence on Friday to President Adama Barrow at State House, and also outlined some major plans to address food security and skills development in the Gambia. Sekou Dramé and Lamin Gassama, erstwhile General Manager and Operations Manager at the Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility Limited, on Friday appeared at the High Court to face 8-count charges related to economic losses of approximately $21 million. The Ministry of Health announced at a press conference on Friday that another nationwide COVID-19 vaccination campaign will start on Monday 9th and conclude on Sunday 15th May 2022. The CSO Working Group on Transitional Justice on Thursday updated the public on its findings and presented the civil society organization's white paper on the TRRC report on recommendations to the Ministry of Justice. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Don't forget to join us tomorrow, same time for more news. Thanks for watching.